What is happening, Turbo Toys here? But you can call me Turbo, and today... Now boys, I've been meaning to do a video showcasing some of these older customs, as well as a few that I've chucked together just because I had the parts, but also ones that I didn't really document any work in progress pictures. So, first we got Mr. Perfect, Curt Hennig. Now we have yet to get an elite in the yellow attire, and it's one of the singlet colours that I remember him most in as a kid. So for me, it was very important to capture him how I remembered him back then. Now his second Mattel figure release actually came in the basic and the yellow attire, and I always had the intention to do the basic to elite conversion, but I actually really liked that basic that much that I didn't really want to pull him apart. So this custom just basically came out of some extra parts that I had laying around in the fodder box. Now I moulded and casted the scan a while ago, and I actually repainted it just for this custom. Now I was trying out different shading techniques and dry brushing for the hair and face, but I was quite pleased with the turnout, but there's always room for improvement. Now every time you paint yellow it can be a bit naughty, and to try and get a good finish can take a lot of patience, and that's something that old Turbsky ain't really got a lot of. But I do prefer the yellow colour on the custom compared to what we got on the basic. Because when you see pictures of him in that singlet, it's a really bright yellow colour, and I really wanted to capture that how I see it in the pictures. And then I made the Mr. P decal design on the boot, and it basically finished it off perfectly, if you'd forgive that pun. And then I cut up a t-shirt to make that little hand towel that he wears on his entrance, and that was it, it was finished. And I really liked the way it turned out, and if he was displayed with the IC title and the towel, he would really stand out in your collection. And with the bright yellow, he was definitely one of the ones that stood out on the workbench when I was making him. So I just wanted to compare him with a couple of the other Mr. Perfect figures from the collection. So we've already seen the yellow attire, and I believe this is from Basic 37 if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. It's a solid figure and I've really enjoyed having it in the collection. Now moving on, we've got the Retrofest Mr. Perfect. Now my good friend over there at Clarky Collector helped me get this one. And again, it's a solid figure. This one was the scan that I used to mould for this custom, so that was really helpful. I really enjoy having this one. And of course last, we had the Legends Mr. Perfect that my good friend Craig at the NWF gave to me. And if you haven't checked him out on Instagram, be sure to, at the NWF. He also made the banner for this channel and the intro video, so you'll always find his link in the description. His customs are a real treat on the eye, and you won't be disappointed, so check him out, at the NWF. But as for the Mr. Perfects, of course I'm still on the lookout for that Heenan family Mr. Perfect in the orange, so hopefully I can update this down the road. Now another, which is my third time I'm making this custom in the Danger attire, is Owen Heart. And boys, I can assure you this won't be the last time I'm making Owen Heart. Now I've never really seen a custom in this attire that I can say I'm over the moon with. And that's a big reason of why I've gone for this torso choice. Because I feel it makes the designs on the attire look more accurate, because a lot of people go with that Bret Hart, Chad Gable style torso. And don't get me wrong, that is a great choice for the torso, but I just feel it don't leave enough space for the designs and how they should look on an action figure. And again, this one's the best one yet, but I feel like the head scan could have been a lot better, especially in the hair. But I used the Build-A-Figure Bret Hart scan because I wanted to give him the Hart family eyes. But the scan did take a lot of modding, but I feel next time I'll be a lot more patient with it. You know, but nonetheless, I'm still very pleased with the progress compared to like the previous attempts that I did. And with the way of 3D prints now of his head, it's very hard to convince anyone that a sculpted scan is 100%. But if I'm making someone like Owen Hart, I want my Owen custom to be 100% unique. And like the Elite Legend would tell you, I love a tag team, so I couldn't pass on putting him with one of his tag team partners. Yeah, that's old Slapnuts himself, Double J, Jeff Jarrett. Now you may have seen this custom if you follow me on Instagram, and it was actually approved by Jeff Jarrett himself. Now everyone that's followed my custom career knows that I like to make and apply decals, but Jeff was one of them customs where every now and again I like to test my hand painting skills, so the trunks and the knee pads, they was all hand painted this time, and I really like how it turned out. Now for his scan I sculpted the hair. Now I have seen other people use that Road Dogg scan from the basic battle pack, and I think that looks great, but I always like to try and find something that little bit different, and I really like this scan and how it turned out. I also made the vest myself, and it was one of the first ones I made, and it's progressed a little bit since then, but probably not much. But it is something I want to do more of, so I repainted the guitar and I added the Christian Jack sunglasses. And of course, to celebrate their reign as tag team champions, I repainted a couple of tag team championships that come with the Edge and Christian battle pack, and they just look class. But as for Owen Hart, there definitely is a lot more options that I want to tackle in the future, so be sure to subscribe so you'll never miss out on future uploads of customs, just like this one. Now, this is one of them ones that you wish you would have got in one of them Elite Epic Moments free packs. So my Hall and Nash battle pack was missing the third man, and this was purely done because I had some spare parts laying around. And the plan was to make this all elite, but during making this, they announced that Ultimate, so I really wasn't too bothered about actually finishing this custom. I moulded and casted the head scan, and I basically did this just because I wanted to practice painting up Hulk Hogan head scans. Now I ended up using a basic upper torso because the bigger upper t-shirt torsos, they all went on to other projects because they ain't that easy to come by at a cheap price. And like I said, with the announcement of the Ultimate Edition, I wasn't too sure if I was going to even finish this project. I made both the Hollywood and the NWO decals for the figure, and I added pipe cleaners as the feather boas. I also repainted the world title and added the NWO decal to it, and basically that was it. And I think it's so cool to have the original three displayed on the shelf, remembering one of the greatest factions in professional wrestling history. Jake the Snake Roberts. Now I had a spare Jake Roberts laying around, and I was planning to make an attire which actually came out in the Legends Series 8. I kind of wish I would have still done it because in the UK we don't stock them at retail, so it's very hard to get the Legends figures. So now with a redundant mock-up of Jake the Snake Roberts, I didn't know what attire to make, so I thought I would kind of do a fantasy attire. So as I compare him with the Legends Series 2 figure, now I nearly did the attire he wore in the blindfold match that he had with Rick Martel, but I wasn't 100% happy with the reference pictures that I had. And I did buy this colour especially for this project, and I really like the Cobra designs that I used for the tights. So I was really pleased with how it come out in the end. I feel it scaled up really well with the Legends figure, and it come out really good. I also really love that blue sort of green turquoise colour on the tights as well, so yeah, very happy with this one. Now the Messiah, Seth Rollins. Now I really had a crazy idea with this one. I got all the parts together and made a mock-up to see what the scale looked like, and I thought I could put it off. So, the scan was from an old Shield figure, and I modded the hair and gave him the old man bun, and I was really pleased with the sculpt and how that turned out. I then sculpted the fur collar onto a vest top and given him some of them suited arms. Also adding some decal designs for the jacket. I also gave him the single black glove. And I believe the torso was from the Dean Ambrose Elite, so I made the decal design and put it on the front of the t-shirt. And if I remember right, I used whatever I could find for the legs, which included some Cesaro fodder. And then I sculpted on the skin-tight jeans look. And I really loved how this one turned out. I just think it was nice to do something a little bit different for a Seth that wasn't in his ring gear. Another one of the older customs was my NXT Adrian Neville custom. We never got any of the NXT attires in elite form, so a few guys from the community took it upon themselves to do it. I went with a yellow and white attire, but he was a very popular character back then and he had some very good attires, so a lot of people chose to make the custom out of the basic. So I went with a Cody Rhodes torso, and I believe the arms are from a Cody as well. He did always look quite built in NXT, so the part choices for this figure was perfect. I'm sure I used the Daniel Bryan lowers because I wanted to keep his height down to make the scale perfect. And then I used the basic boots that come on the figure because they're a unique design to that era of Neville. And I don't believe there was ever an elite set made of them boots. And definitely the fact that he was a UK guy was a big factor in me wanting to do this project, so it was perfect at the time. And so we're going to finish off with a Second City Saint, CM Punk. Always a big reason of why I watch professional wrestling, and I wanted to challenge myself in applying some decals. I ended up making both the Punk sleeves through a lot of reference pictures and putting them all together so I can make them decals. And let me tell you boys, it was painful. I also did the straight edge design on his stomach. And I must admit as well, I really like this attire from Punk. I think it was like ECW era, but I could be wrong. I also love the scan with this figure, but we never got it in Elite, so I had to give this one a go. I always love how he's repping Chicago on his attires as well, but the light blue with the red stars and the white trunks really stand out, and I think it looks class. I used the plain black knee pads and the plain black boots from the basic figure. But look-wise, I love it, and I'm sure there are still a few more Punks that I wouldn't mind having a crack at. So stay tuned and be on the lookout. But for this look into a few of my older customs that I made, that's going to do it for this one. I do have more custom showcases on the way, but what I'd love to know from you guys is, who was your favourite custom in this video? What customs would you like to see me tackle in the future? And if you like customs, then don't forget to check me out on Instagram at Turbo Toys, where I mainly post pictures of my custom work. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment and subscribe so you don't miss out on future custom reveals. And until that next video, boys, I will see ya when I see ya.